Hey guys, it's Chris with Nichols Retirement Empire out here on the trail. I'm walking. I haven't walked in like 5 days because we have been so busy. When your wife has a cooking channel on YouTube and Facebook, Thanksgiving is not just like a cook 1 day ahead or 2 days ahead thing. It is like a 2 or 3 week I have been eating Thanksgiving stuff for weeks. At one time we had like 4 or 5 pies in the refrigerator, a cake sitting on. I mean, she's just cooking like crazy because that's when when you get the most views and pick up the most subscribers. It's Thanksgiving, November and December. So we have been, this is when I get to my fighting weight. I gain all this weight, and then everybody's like, why do you go on a diet every year? Because my wife. I mean, and I gotta eat it. I mean, like, you're not gonna, well, I wouldn't eat all that stuff. Yeah, you will. And weird stuff, like one day, it's like, okay, we made rolls, and cranberry sauce and a pie. Well, what'd you eat for supper? McDonald's. You can't eat rolls, cranberry sauce, and a pie for your supper. Thanksgiving's coming up tomorrow. So let's talk about the judges' table. Thanksgiving. When we were on that show out there in Los Angeles, we would cook stuff, and they didn't show all this on TV, but we would cook stuff and you would bring it out there, and Kat Corin, Graham Elliott, and Aisha Curry were the judges, and they would sit down and they would taste every single thing that you made, talk about every single thing about it. They'd take turns, and I mean, it was just brutally honest. Here is exactly what I think, good, bad, or ugly. And it was nerve-wracking. It was very stressful to know that 3 professional chefs are sitting here tasting my food. But let me tell you what's even more stressful: the Thanksgiving family judges table. Chris, what are you talking about, man? My family, they would never say anything bad. And I don't know, you might have a family that might be brutally honest, and they might taste something and go, oh my God, this is horrible, and everybody fusses and fights. Now, my family, they don't do all that. I've never had that experience, where my grandmother looked at my aunt and said, this is horrible. But anyway, if that's you, then you don't need to listen to this. First of all, you get prejudged. Before they even taste your food. If you're new to the family, they just go ahead and assume you can't cook. You can't cook. You're new. We know how to cook in this family. Like Tammy would bring in stuff. She threw a wrench in all their stuff. She'd show up. She upset their apple cart. She came in, and one of the first things I think I remember her making for my family was sweet potato souffle for Thanksgiving. Now, I'm sure somebody back then was the sweet potato souffle person, and everybody would eat theirs. And my wife brought in one, and she makes one that is just out of this world good, and nobody ate it. At the end of the day, we go over there to get our dishes, and the sweet potato souffle has 2 scoops out of it, and it was mine and hers. And she's like, what is wrong with your family? Are they crazy? No, they're not crazy. They just never had sweet potato souffle the way you make it, and they just don't know any better. Over the years, as people tasted it, they began to realize, man, this is awesome. And now it's one of the first things everybody eats. You're also prejudged based on your past performance. If you have, trying to say this in a nice way, it's Thanksgiving, I'm trying to be, if you have maybe produced some items that people, when they consumed them, was not pleasant, then they're going to assume that everything else you make is probably not, going to be any good. They prejudge you if you bring in store-bought things. Now, where I'm from, and maybe it's not like this where you're from, but you didn't bring in the roll. If you're bringing in the rolls, and I don't mean homemade rolls. I mean the rolls you brought at the grocery store. There's a reason you're bringing in the roll. You bring in an apple pie that's store-bought, they're going to look at you like, this is Thanksgiving. We don't eat store-bought apple pies. Where are you? Another time with Tammy, we went to this little church way out in the country where I was coaching, and it was a church function, and we all brought food in, and she made an apple pie, and she put lettuce on it and cut out leaves, and I mean, it looked like something, out of a bakery, and it was a homemade pie. Well, it looked so good. At the end of the day, when we went to get our dish, we go over there, and nobody had ate the pie. I didn't eat it because I knew it'd be left over, because I know about them people out in the country. And she goes, nobody ate my pie. Same thing is like with my family. Are these people crazy? Why they? No, they're not crazy. They just don't know. And I told her, I said, Tammy, I was going to tell you this, but I didn't. I said, but that pie looks too good. She said, what are you talking about? I said, they think that pie is store-bought. She goes, really? You think so? I mean, it took a long time to make. I'm like, yes. Well, I used to work in a bakery. I know. I'm like, they don't know that. All they know is that pie looks like it came out of a bakery. So they think you bought it. They're not going to eat it. You need to have a signature dish. You need to be the one that every year they go, hey, you make the dressing. Hey, you make the turkey. You can't come in there every year. One year you make macaroni, and the next year you make coleslaw, and the next year you make... you got to have a roll now. You got to fit in there somewhere. You can't just come in there with something different every time. They don't know they can't handle that. You need a dish to hang your hat on that everybody else all agrees and looks at you and says, you make the macaroni. But the real judgment comes when you sit down and you start eating. And you know how it works. You go up to the dessert table and you have kind of watched to see who brought in what. You got to hope that whoever's up there at the same time as you is somebody that's a relative that you can look at and go, hey, who made what here? And that they know, and they can say, that's what, and usually they know why you're asking. They'll say, so-and-so made that, and they'll point at it. And that either means everybody knows that's good, I'm eating it, or it means you might want to steer clear from that. And you go up there and you go, man, it's Thanksgiving. There's 5 different desserts up here, okay? And you get them, and you go back to the table. Now, here's the judgment table. One of the judgment tables. You start eating that dessert, you better hope that if one of them's not any good, that person is not sitting at your table, because they're going to watch you and see what your reaction is. And God help you if you don't eat their dessert, because you just ate 4 other desserts. And everybody always says the same thing. Oh, whew, I'm so full, I just can't eat anymore. Man, that stuff is so rich, I can't. Oh, man. They know you're not eating their dessert because you don't like it. You have just sat at the judgment table and judged their food right in front of them. Now, it's Thanksgiving, and you should be nice. And if you get something off that table, and you're not sure whose it is, and they might be sitting at the table, eat it. Eat it. Shouldn't have got it. If you didn't want to eat it, if you get it, you better eat it. Don't you hurt that woman's feelings. Don't you hurt that man's feelings, because he made something, he's so proud of it, he brought it to Thanksgiving. I mean, everybody brings their best stuff to Thanksgiving, and they brought what they think's their best thing, and then you sit there and push it around and go, it's so rich I can't eat it. No, you eat it. There's nothing worse than sitting there at a table with 10 or 12 people that you love. They're your relatives, they're your family. And you made dressing, And everybody's eating all that turkey. And they're eating all them pinto beans. And they're eating all that, you know, they're eating that green bean casserole. And they're eating that macaroni. And they're eating that. And the dressing's kind of getting pushed around and moved over to this side of the plate and mixed in a little bit with a, and then they get up and they walk over there and they throw the plate away, and then they get another plate and they go over and get some more food. That judgment is way worse than me sitting in front of Cat Cora and Graham Elliott and Aisha Curry and them telling me I overcooked my chicken. That's what, when you get turned down by grandma and your aunt and your uncle and they didn't eat your prized dressing, that's a tough judgment table right there. I'm gonna tell y'all a secret, and not everybody knows. If you don't know this, you need to know it. When you go up there and you get your food, usually at Thanksgiving, you know, there's all kind of stuff. And everybody always, you always hear somebody go, you know what, I'm gonna get a little bit of everything. You know, and you think, no, I'm gonna get, I like pinto beans, I like mashed potatoes, I like turkey, I like ham, I'm gonna get what I like. No, don't get what you like. Get a little bit of everything, a little bit. Because chances are most of it's good, and if there's something that's bad, you just have to eat a little bit of it. It's just one little spoon of that cranberry salad that you thought looked good and it was terrible. See? Pay attention to your elders when they do stuff like that. There's a reason them men get up there and go, I'm just gonna get a little bit of everything. And then they eat, and then they go back and they get them another plate. See what's on that next plate. What's on that next plate? That's the real meal. That's what's good. So if you want to not hurt anybody's feelings, not leave their stuff sitting on a plate, just get a little bit of everything. Do the little bit of everything trick, and then go get what you like. Now everybody's happy. You ate the bad cranberry salad. You didn't hurt nobody's feelings. You didn't judge nobody. Make your family happy at Thanksgiving. It's Thanksgiving. And I'll tell you one other thing that will make people happy. It's a secret. If you see something up there that nobody's eaten, maybe it's a pie and only one piece is gone, try to look around, maybe create a distraction somehow, and while nobody's looking, take about 2 pieces out and throw it down in the garbage and cover it up with some plates so that when they come over there, they'll say, hey, man, 3 people ate my pie. That'll make them happy. They don't know you threw it in the trash. Just kind of do it secretly. Just do little things like that to make people happy. And for God's sake, don't get caught doing that. And if you get caught, don't tell them I told you to do it. Just be careful out there. Nichols Retirement Empire. Just trying to help you get along with your family. And help you avoid eating that bad food at Thanksgiving. You're welcome.